have the other ones available in there.
Wait.
But
So, Luke, what are you drinking today? Coca-Cola.
Morning on the way to the gym and set my ukulele on top of the car and then drove off down the road.
Going to be the bow after that. Thank you. All right. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Look at that.
Yo! I learned my lesson from last time. What a welcome, thank you. I drink the most fruity drinks imaginable.
It's laundry day.
it's laundry day.
So you always wear hats with laundry day.
I'm going to do you a favor.
Yes. As you say, later.
So how did you two meet?
Well, there's these places in San Francisco. I think they're called bathhouses.
It's like one of those things where everyone wants to focus on like the big events that happen, but day to day, what we're doing is we're on like Boulevard Draw Street, smoking weed, making comics. It's chill. It's so much fun, and like
Man, it's I'm not a YouTuber. I do this because I want to sell comic books. Bam! Yes, guys. There we are. It is Sunday. Guys. So this means another episode of A Drink with Brink, where I talk with other indie creators about their hopes and their dreams and their lives, but also their creations. So their books, their campaigns, their games, whatever they make, right? Because I'm kind of bored with mainstream, and indie, guys, is where the passion is. all right, guys. I hope you're all having a fantastic weekend and a nice Sunday. I've been working on the campaign, the Kickstarter campaign, which is coming up. The Kickstarter campaign for the Perfection Collection, which is my first trade paperback. It's so the first 6 issues of Perfect 10 are collected in the Perfection Collection, guys. It's distributed and published by Critical Blast from the United States. So that is really cool, right? Last week I shipped, I don't know, for those who didn't like follow me on X or whatever, I had the books printed. So the Perfect 10 issue 6, we finished the complete series, right? So Perfect 10 issue 6 was done. I had it printed, and then I got it back, and I noticed there was this millimeter of like difference between the two sides. When you like, this is the good version. So this is a good version, right? But it had like, so the back side here was like one millimeter shorter, so you could see the inside pages. Like, it's just a millimeter, but it bothered me, guys. And I contacted the printer about it because it was almost all the books, right? And they didn't see the problem. They were like, it's not really a problem, but I need to sell these books to you guys. I only want quality. I want the best, right? So this is why I have them printed here in the Netherlands and not in the United States. So I print them here so I can see them, right? And if something is wrong, I can have it reprinted. So we had it reprinted. The printer was a bit hesitant. They initially didn't want to, but I insisted, and so we made this deal. So it still cost me extra money, but less, right? I just want you guys to have the best quality books, right? But it is done. So this is the second printing. Actually, it still says first printing because the other books won't go out, right? But these go out. In fact, I already sent them out. I sent them out to Critical Blast, to the United States. They're on their way right now. And meanwhile, they are putting together the trade paperback. So once they have everything gathered up, then they will start fulfillment. And everyone who has like ordered the single issue outside of the United States, I already took care of. So you probably already have this, right? So this means that next week I will be launching, that was the plan, we'll be launching the Kickstarter campaign for this book, plus the Perfection Collection. I'm not sure if I'm going to make it. It's a lot of work and still needs to go through like they have to check it. So Kickstarter has to check it before they can activate it, right? So I'm not sure if we'll make it before next weekend. If not, we will launch the weekend after, but soon, guys, soon. All right, all right, guys. I have oh wait, we have some people in the chat, but for some reason I can't see it here. Wait, comments. Oh, there we go. I had to refresh. in StreamYard. That's weird. Right. Mike is here. Welcome, Mike. He says it's Drink with Brink Day. Happy weeks and to you, guest and audience. Dave Paus Mirai pinup is more hot. Awesome song. Awesomeness. Thank you, Mike. Thank you for being here. First off, and yes, guys, on X I posted, and on YouTube, by the way. If you follow me on YouTube, I made a post there. So Pau drew a character from. I'm working on a fantasy story. I wanted to do a fantasy like thing, right? And this is it. This will be my fantasy universe thing. And Pau drew one of the characters, Mirai, and you can see it on my socials. So go check it out. It's colored by Daniel. So the Perfect 10 crew, they made that. Really, really cool. Crenshaw, welcome, sir. Hey, Dave, Ernie, and chat pals. Welcome, Crenshaw. Nice to see you. Pops is also here. Welcome, Pops. Madness Entertainment Group. Guys, we are broadcasting through the Madness Entertainment Group, so multiple channels. Really cool. Thanks to Pops right here. Thank you. Pau is so good at anatomical curves. I don't just mean his women, and you make beautifully designed books, whether reprints or the trades. Thank you. Yeah, the trade is not designed by me. That's Critical Blast, but I have I offered them feedback, right? So they do listen. If there's something I don't like or don't want in there, it won't be in there. All right, guys, it's time for the guest. It's a returning guest. So I think he was here like 2 or 3 months back, and he was a wonderful guest. He had a lot to talk about, and he's like he worked on animations like Aztec Batman, Batman Hush, Justice League Dark, Green Lantern. So you must have questions for the good man. So if you have questions about the process of animation or about whatever, drop it in the chat and we will ask him. And now it's time to bring him on, guys. Let's see if I have everything ready. I do, because, guys, I would like a warm welcome for the guest of the hour, Mr. Ernie Altbacker.
Yay! I'm here. I made it.
Yes, finally. Thanks for waiting, sir.
Thank you for having me on, Dave.
Yeah, you're very welcome. All right, before we talk about anything, Ernie, I have to ask you the first official question to kick things off. What are you drinking?
You know, I knew this was going to come up, and it's boring. I got my refilled Gatorade of water because, Dave, Friday was my birthday, but I couldn't go out. I had to work, so my friends took me out last night, and I need to rehydrate, man. Otherwise, you know, I'd have a beer or something. But I'm gonna ask everybody to give me a pass today.
Sure.
So
well, it's pretty early, anyways, where you are right now. So
yeah, 11 in the morning on a Sunday. Yeah. I don't know, you know, especially after kind of the birthday celebration. There was some shots bought for me. Don't usually do those.
That's cool. Well, happy birthday, sir.
Thank you.
And the pup says, hello, Ernie. Mike says, the return of the Ernie. And he says, "Happy belated birthday. Mine is tomorrow. I gotta work." Whoa.
Yeah, same thing, man. Yeah, I get the midweek birthdays is kind of tough. I mean, I went out to dinner on Friday, but didn't do anything. Got in early. But Saturday we were out at lunch, and then we just stayed out past dinner, and then I came home at night.
All right.
Proper birthday celebration.
Good.
So I hope Mike Fan, has a good day planned, or if it's on the weekend or whatever, go to it, get it.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Sunday mornings are for wine, says Pops. I saw Megadeth, Anthrax, and Exodus on Friday night. Wow, that's heavy.
Concerts, always fun.
That is heavy. What's your music taste like, Ernie?
It's a little eclectic, I guess. I do like your alternative rock, what used to be new wave, right? Your Depeche Mode, your U2, your Simple Minds, stuff like that. And I also like blues from the 40s, 50s, and 60s. Some Grateful Dead, Allman Brothers band, stuff like that. So it's a little bit all over the place, depending upon my mood.
Yes. And when you write, because you're a writer, correct?
Yes.
Primarily, right? So when you write, do you listen to music to get in the mood, or do you want silence?
You know what? When I'm writing and it's the creation of new pages, it's pretty much silence. But when I'm rewriting, I'll put something on in the background. Just like an album, not a mixtape. Just go through albums while they go in the background. Not really listening, but who knows? Maybe it seeps into you and affects you.
Yeah, man. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So there are people watching right now who never heard of Ernie Altbacker, right? That's crazy, but it happens,
There are many. The vast majority of people are people who haven't heard of Ernie Altbacker. So
which is remarkable, because you worked on so many franchises that almost everyone knows, right?
Well, like if you're kind of a nerd, and I am too, or the type of person that goes to Comic-Con, you might have seen some of the stuff I've written, but I don't think most people go like, "Oh, who wrote that one?" They just like the adaptation of Batman Hush. It's Jeff Loeb and Jim Lee, right? But someone has to adapt it to make it be 90 minutes instead of 12 issues of comic, and that one fell to me, and several other like high profile ones.
Did you ever write something that was for animation that was completely yours, so not a adaptation but something new?
Yeah, well, some of them, like Justice League Dark is it's mostly a new story. It's not from the comics. And I co-wrote with John Semper Green Lantern, Beware My Power. That's kind of a new story also, that I and the person overseeing that, Jim Krieg, kind of came up with, along with the artist lead who animated it. So it's about 50%, but you stay in the world of, usually. Even Aztec Batman is something we created, whole cloth, which is placing the Batman mythos in 1520 at the height of the Aztec Empire, right? So they're all like the Aztec versions of characters. Instead of Catwoman, we have Jaguar Woman and stuff. Okay. They have slightly different powers, but a person who knows the Batman mythos will go, "Oh, I see what they're doing there." Hopefully,
Right. So how did that particular project start? You were there from the beginning, and you all like decided we want to make something new with the Batman franchise somehow?
Well, actually, the management company that I'm with, that person, Aaron Berger, had the idea along with the head of Hello Anima Studios in Mexico of like, well, let's create a Mexican, history based Batman and go pitch it to Warner Brothers. And so I was brought on first to kind of pitch it into existence. Soon after, during that process, even Juan Mazleon, very talented director, he came on and helped flesh it out. And then they did a bunch of concept drawings, which were cool enough that Warner Brothers wanted to go ahead with the project. And then a lot of people get involved and do notes.
Right.
But yeah, the writing of it was down to me. And I'm kind of like, I'm not there for the cultural stuff. I'm there to place the Batman universe into a story in that culture. And then we had like a doctorate of pre-Columbian history telling us, no, you can't have that scene. Like there wouldn't be a breakfast scene around a table. They didn't have tables,
Good. That's good to know.
Yeah, and for the artist, there was like, well, there's colors that you can't use, like this like kind of blue. All blues were for the gods. So you don't really see. I'm thinking it's blue. It might be a different color. Is it purple or blue? But there's a color that they just like, unless it's on Moctezuma, the leader, the god king of the Aztecs of the time. It was not in the movie. Like there wasn't a house colored that. There wasn't somebody's clothes. So you learn a bunch of really weird, fun things that places the story more and gives it a reality, even though it's an else world, right? It's our fictional world, right? Another one, I had a scene where it was like Aztec Batman barricades the door, and it's like, no, they didn't have doors. They had a curtain.
Okay.
Right? And I'm like, oh.
What? They didn't have doors?
Yeah. In fact, both parts of my scene were wrong. It's like he muscles like a picnic table and a picnic table sized table against the door, and they're like, well, they didn't have that or that, so think again.
Okay, yeah, that's fascinating. You learn so much when you write, because you have to do a lot of research, especially so that is great. That
was the most research intensive story that I've ever done, I think.
Right.
And
so you bring some experts on to make sure everything is culturally like everything is.
Yeah.
Like
well, I do
I
do the initial research, using the internet, right? So I'm in the ballpark, and then they were like I always thought, the city Tenochtitlan was like in the middle of the jungle, and it's not a jungle; it's a forest. It was like a forest. Some areas were very swampy and watery, but it was a forest and not a jungle. So I'm thinking like toucans and macaws, and they're like, no, that you're wrong. It's like a lush forest.
Wow, that's fascinating. Yeah. And you're all working together for the end product, right? So it's not like you get frustrated that they have to change things that you really want in there, because eventually you're all like this team to produce something that works and makes sense, right?
Well, any frustration is we just didn't have the time, like the movie's 82 minutes long, and they're like, this is how much we can pay for animation. You have 82 new minutes, or 72 new minutes. We got an extra 10 through some camera work. If you notice, sometimes in the dialogue scenes, they'll do like a scan and pan. Well, that's on one frame, so that
Yeah.
counts as 1/24th of a second. Now
Yeah.
you can't do that. You can't do two talking heads for 2 minutes in a row, because then it gets really boring and you're like, what am I looking at, right? But they do that for like, one character says a line, another character answers, and they'll move from one person, pan over to the other person as they answer, and it looks like there's camera movement and stuff, so you don't feel like, oh man, this is really static, this is boring, right? So they do a lot of stuff like that. That's why, even though we only have 72 minutes of new animation, sometimes it can be 82. I think Batman Hush was 90 minutes. Justice League Dark Apocalypse War was also 90 minutes. They jammed a lot of great stuff in there. So yeah, everybody works together, and you're only frustrated or disappointed when they have to drop a scene, because it's like, we're going to be over time. We need to cut one plot line here, and that one's got to go. And it's like, oh, that was so cool.
Yeah, it was my best lines. Oh no.
Yeah, I wish we had unlimited money.
Yes, that would be great.
Everybody wishes that, right?
Yeah. I've heard that a lot of people who used to work in comics, they get into either animation or the movie business to do a lot of storyboarding, right? So there's some connection within these two like worlds, comics and animation.
One of the go-to storyboard artists for like James Gunn and some of the other people for the big Marvel movies is Jay Oliva. And Jay Oliva was first an animation director. He directed, I believe, 9. I was my project, Justice League Dark. The original was his last one before he went off. Now he started his own shop and stuff. But he also directed The Dark Knight by Miller. And so there's a part 1 and a part 2 animated, and it is so good. It is so, I urge people. Those are my 2 favorites out of the 40 or so that they've done in the DC, what do they call that? Animated movie universe, DC AMU. So, yeah, a lot. So he does these storyboards. He's the guy who storyboards out the battles for like Avengers Endgame and stuff. So
wow.
Yeah. So there is crossover that way.
That's
for sure.
Great. We have a question from the chat from Crenshaw. He asks, did you come up with a workaround for the door barricade scene?
Yes, we did. I just had to reverse it actually and see, like, Cortez, instead of Batman barricading against Cortez and the Conquistadors, I flipped it around and had Batman trying to get in. And so Cortez and the Conquistadors would have, in my little Elseworlds, would have built themselves a table. So they put it up against the opening, the curtained opening. I didn't put a door in there, as Batman was trying to get in and save Moctezuma from being kidnapped. But he was driven off, and that's a little bit of the story. It's out everywhere if you can rent it or whatever on DVD, I think for $5 now or something, on Amazon Prime and some of the other ones, HBO Max. I think it's just on there. So if you have HBO Max, it's free.
Right. Yeah. So you are right now producing your own comics also. You're writing comic books, scripts, right? Did you before this ever had a interest in like working for like the comic book companies to write scripts?
Oh yes, I've that's been frustrating, kind of breaking in because I was doing these DC movies, and so I had like a little dance with people, but then it seemed like they moved on, and when a new editor comes on, they have their own people. So I did a small story in Future State, in the Green Lantern Future State a Guy Gardner story called The Book of Guy. It's only 10 pages, so that one's animated. And then I did a couple other comics that went into inventory when those people left, and there was other plans, So I decided, man, I gotta stop just waiting around, because the goal would be to do a bunch of DC comics, and that would give me the leverage to do my own comics. So I was afraid of Kickstarter because there's just so much stuff to do. I'm not very tech savvy. I'm like, I'm not going to be able to do this. But so I went to Comic-Con one year, and they have this meet and greet called the Comics Creator Connection. They have it every year, I think, at WonderCon and San Diego Comic-Con. And it's basically like speed dating for writers and artists. So the writers move, and the artists are there with their work. And so I met Josh, the artist of Aztec, not from Area 51 Studios there. And we kind of immediately clicked. And, he's like, well, I own a graphic design company, and one of my services is to start people's websites. So I can handle the website. You'll just have to write it, but I'll tell you what hunks I need. And I'm like, oh, okay. And the thing is, he does all of the art. Like in other cases, another thing was, I just don't know enough of the artists and letterers. You need like a penciler, an inker in some cases, something called a flattener, which I didn't know existed, and then a colorist and a letterer, right? Well, he's like, no, I want to do it all. I want to do it from soup to nuts, because he had illustrated some kids' books and some online things, and he's like, I want to just do it soup to nuts. And I was like, whew, all right, I'm only dealing with one person for all the art, and he's going to help me with the Kickstarter and the website. I'm like, sold, let's do it. Right. So we've published 2 issues. We just fulfilled number 2. I think pretty much everybody's gotten it, or if not, they'll get it very soon. The site is actually the Kickstarter site still is accepting late backers just for the digital copy. So you can have it almost immediately if you want. I don't think we're selling number 1 as a digital copy on the site, but we are on my regular site. So yeah, there you kind of see it.
This is so the artist is called Josh White.
Yes.
Yeah. And he made this website. He has his own website, which is this one, and people can also purchase the comics here, the digital editions.
Yep.
For $6. That's a nice price, right?
We think so.
Yeah, it is. And issue 1.
Yes, that's issue 1. There's also a novella of the entire thing. So this started that I wrote a novella years ago, and nobody wanted at the time novellas, but that's the way it came out. It was a very short book. It's about 130, 140 pages, but a very small publishing company helped us out with that. And so I divided that into 4 issues. So we're going to be starting the Kickstarter for the 3rd issue in a month or so, maybe a month and a half. And it's going to be a beast. It's 31 pages of story, and then another 4 of 5 of extras. And when we get to then we're going to do the 4th issue, possibly later this year, and then after that we're going to turn it into a trade. So that's that was the goal all since issue 1, is to turn the 4 issues. It'll be about 100 pages of story and about 30 pages of extras, and we hope to get that out early next year. And
Great.
there's already some people, some comic companies that were like, hey, we might want to help you put that under a banner. We'll do all your marketing and advertising, because it's a small fan base right now, but everybody who is in it seems to be a repeat customer, like they're following the story now. So we're just trying to kind of grow it. And, I think it's kind of a neat. Oh, I should say what the story is. So everything about Area 51 is wrong. It is a secret base, but it's actually a studio, a series of stages where alien producers come to make their galactic movies and reality shows and beam it out. It's one of the places. It's one of the studios in our universe where Earth is kind of a backwater. Yeah, Earth is kind of a backwater, and it's cheap to produce there, right? Kind of looked down upon. And so I guess I would describe it as, if you like Seth Rogen's The Studio, or aging myself a little bit, the Larry Sanders Show, and that would be mixed with Men in Black. So that's kind of the tone. It's kind of outrageous and funny, and there's a lot of behind the scenes Hollywood.
James Gunn here, right?
It may or may not be James Gunn, but there's a lot of hat tips, to all the stuff that we love in the fantasy and science fiction stuff. Realm, the stuff that inspired us. There's like, I think there's an alien with a computer, and you see the back of the computer, and on the back of his computer are some stickers, and one of the stickers is just it's the Simpsons three-eyed fish. Like we put little things like that in there as if you're a geek, I think you appreciate the little, like, oh, I see that. There's word jumbles of my favorite authors for all the planets are named something, that is from a story I liked, or a character, or an author, or a director, or an actor that I like. So, yeah.
Great. Welcome, Cosmonaut Comics. Welcome, Marinus. Guys, go subscribe to Cosmonaut Comics YouTube channel for daily comic book reviews. And next week, he launches his own comic book, Gemini Crusaders. So,
that's awesome. Hey, I hope you review me one day.
Yeah, man. Yeah, of course.
I'm always willing to come on to anybody's show. If you want to do it, or you want to wait until we're coming out with our third issue, we usually try and give like a kind of a link that gets you a discount when I go on a show. I mean, in this case, it's over, but there's still like late pledges are going. But we didn't want to get anything that we have to ship at this point, so it's digital only,
But for the next campaign, people can still get the first books, right?
Yes, and obviously the physical media and because I talked with you, we are going to ship to Europe.
Woohoo! Yes,
we're going to have to charge whatever they, we're not going to make a profit on shipping. God, I dislike that when people do that. Whatever it is, we're going to charge. I think it'll work out better if the people get like, whether it's one book or like 5 books, I think it's going to cost the same amount of shipping. So you could get some alt covers or, whatever. And we usually do like stickers and stuff that we just give away for free. So
it's kind of the norm where you do a campaign that you add these tchotchkes,
Yeah.
I myself, I don't really need them. I just want the book, right? But it's kind of a thing. You want to give people something extra. So, and now I have all these tchotchkes laying around. I'm not sure what to do with all of them.
Yeah, you never know if a book takes off that was kind of an indie book, and then all of a sudden it's a TV show, and the runs of these things are not big. I think we made 300 of number one.
Yeah.
And we made 250 for number two. Like everybody told me, goes down a little bit. And I'm like, yeah, it did. So hopefully in 3 it pops back up, but there's just several hundred issues printed, and that's it.
So it's better. It's better to start small, and then once it catches on, you can always do reprints, stuff like that. If you want to.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Shall we watch the trailer?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. There we go.
Is very minimal.
Yeah, it's only quiet.
I think there should be music playing here right now, but that like we did that for issue number 1, and Josh put it together, so that's what we could do. We that was the limit of our abilities. But it gives a little bit of an overview, and so that's fun. Anything, the website really tells you more. This Kickstarter, I give you the story and the overview, and there's a lot of arts. There's preview pages for number 2 issue.
Oh.
Yeah, if you
have
look
news, Crenshaw, he says just nabbed digital issues 1 and 2.
Wow,
that is excellent.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes! Hell yeah! Hey, come on, baby! Come on! Yes! Come on! Ah! Yes! Yes!
That's fantastic.
Woo! Thank you, Crenshaw. Excellent, man. Excellent.
Thank you, Crenshaw.
Mike says, love that use of the theremin instrument in the trailer. Always effective.
I found that. I was like, I need something. I didn't want to just steal it, but I want something from the day the Earth stood still, when they come out. And that's actually Bernard Herrmann, who did like Oscar-winning composer, who did like that old De Niro movie, the cabbie one. I'm forgetting it. God.
De Niro?
But just a ton of great movies, and that he was like, hey, this new instrument, let me try this. It is iconic when Gort comes out and stuff. That music, it's fantastic. But we got to sound alike, at least that is theremin and sci-fi.
Or Plan 9 from outer space, says Mike.
Exactly. Yes.
Yes.
Well, that's going to be another one to pull to. Yeah. When we start doing social media for number 3, that would be another one to pull from, to put on the bottom of like reels. To underlie some of the reels and the stories that you can throw on Instagram and Facebook or something.
Yeah. So what I understood from the way you set the series up, sorry, is that it's one long running story, correct? Or is it 4 shorter stories within this concept?
No, it's one 4-issue arc to start off, right? Yeah. So I didn't want to we wanted to make sure that we could finish, right? But those people who are like, oh, I'm really digging the story, I don't want to wait, there is the novella. So, but the novella, since Josh is on the comic, I don't mind changing the comic a little bit. I know where we're going to end, but some of the characters, when he comes out with a really cool character design, I'm like, oh man, I got to start giving those guys lines. So this character design is just way too cool, and so they're different, and so hopefully, if somebody likes it, they'll go, oh, I want to read that version also. Basically, I guess the novella it gets in a lot more deeper into nitty gritty and history of it, and the comic is just like, it's very visual and kind of the story's at a faster pace, I guess.
Sure.
And if we end up adapting it onto a web series or something, 2D web series or something, that's going to be different too. I don't mind that each of the different media is kind of its own thing and can be changed. I'm not one of those people who are like, make it exactly like the book. It's like, I don't see the point. The other creative person in there, he's got to have room, or he or she have to have room to add something to it and hopefully make it better,
Right. So what do you need to do in order to get your concept, your comic right here animated?
Oh, well, I mean, I think that will only happen when I have the trade, when I have the graphic novel, and that way I can see. I work in kids animated TV, so I did a lot of shows. I started on the 90s Spider-Man, right? And so I know a lot of these companies. And so once I have that book, I'll be able to bring it to people that I know that I've worked for on different shows and go, what do you think about this for your next year's slate or something like that? Or if a comic company comes on and decides to say, we'd like to help you as a creator-owned, team to put out your graphic novel, and you'll have our marketing behind it. So you're probably going to get 10 times as many backers on it. Then they usually have a sales team and they have relationships with all the studios. So then, I can come in if they want to do it just over the phone, that's fine. This is like Ernie 5.0. I've been in the business or on the edges of it for 30 years. At first, you're like, no, I want to be included in every meeting. And now my most fervent wish is to be included in no meetings so I can write the fun stuff. Now it's like, you got to have a meeting with the head of the company. I'm like,
yeah.
Okay, I guess I'll come in today.
So, but do you need to have a successful comic in order for it to get to animation stage, or can it sometimes circumvent that process, that just the concept is so good that people like produce this animation anyway?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I mean, this thing right now is a tiny niche. It's one of 10,000 comics on Kickstarter. But if I know a person and hand them the comic and they like it and they own or are part of an animation studio, they could go, hey man, we want a percentage of this, but we'll do it for you. And sure. So I could just hop over all of that by just having someone really like it. And, I mean, some of the more simple animation programs, that's why we settled on this style. At first, it was a lot more realistic, and Josh can do that. But since he was doing all the steps, it was going at a slow pace, and it was taking up a lot of its time. And I was like, what about if you made it more 2D and less detail, like an Archer was the example I gave. He goes, well, that'll be a lot faster. And so, I know some people over at Titmouse who makes Archer and many great cartoons.
Yeah.
I mean, but this is simpler to animate. Some company that's just starting out in a buddy's garage could decide we kind of need your resume, Ernie, to market and stuff, but we'll do this with you if we can become a partner in it. So we could do a web series on our website and on our YouTube channel. I mean, we don't really have a YouTube channel just yet. I think we have a space for one. I love the Venture Brothers.
Titmouse says, Mike, involved with the Great Venture Brothers series.
Oh, geez. That's my favorite. That and Archer, I think, are my two favorite. I worked for them on a show that won a bunch of Emmys, actually, called Nico and the Sword of Light. So that's where I know some people from.
Really? That's great.
As well as a lot of animators that work there as storyboard artists or character designers or stuff like that. So
welcome, Art Hida. Welcome. Nice to see you. All right, so there is still a chance, guys, that Perfect 10 maybe someday gets animated. But you need the right connections. You need to know how to.
You never know.
Navigate that playing field.
I think it's you just get it out there. Certainly, you got a company now. You've got an American company doing the graphic novel, and so it will be spread about. Just like that's a solid. Critical Blast is a solid company. People look at their stuff to see what's coming out, and some development person that likes comics could read it and just go, Dave Brink, we want to option this, and that's the way it starts. So you never know. You never know, man. You could have it could be a tiny thing. It doesn't have to be an award-winning, everybody knows about it, and then they make the cartoon or the movie on it. Sometimes it's like a niche thing, and you plow forward, raising your own money and do it and get it out there, and then it catches. You just have to be not afraid of doing the work.
Yeah, and taking risks, right?
Which sometimes is considerable, right?
Yeah. Yes, it is. By the way, not to get on a different topic, but I am curious about your opinion. Sometimes I hear people say that AI will be the great equalizer when it comes to getting things produced and made, and I'm not sure if that's the case. What do you think?
Well, unfortunately, I think it's not coming. It's already here. And yes, but the thing is, all right, how do I put this in a shorter version? So Hollywood has had some of these upheavals in individual crafts before. Like they used to be, when you had to edit, you would have to cut on a machine called a Steenbeck, the 35 millimeter film. And there was 35 millimeter hanging, and you put this section on and whatever. And it took this skill. But the thing is, those were editors. They had an editor's eye. They had the editor's art. And then you could do it on an Avid, and anybody could do it who did the program. Now, the people who could make the program sing weren't necessarily artists. And that's why all of a sudden, for about 2, 3, 4 years, everything was edited in a basic, simplistic way. There was no art to it, right? In the same way, artists, when the Cintiq came and you would do digital artwork as opposed to pen and ink on paper, all these great masters got whipped out. The people who knew the program of how to do it weren't necessarily as good as artists as them, but it happened. So now we got AI, and it's coming for everything: writing, art, directing. But I think there's going to be a bunch of crap. I think they call it AI slop, where the story is just generic. Like, you've seen this movie 15 times before. You're still going to need the director's eye to do interesting shots. And you're still going to need the writer to think up fresh and original twists and turns and stories, because really you put something in and I guarantee whatever comes out, you will be able to go, oh, this is like the second act from Aliens, or oh, this is the turning point in Star Wars, right? So the writer's job is to make it, you know, interesting and original enough that it's kind of like a new story, you know. But it's coming from everything: camera, lighting, and I mean, at one point there's going to be like 14 or 15-year-old in mom's basement that comes out with like the Lord of the Rings, and he will be an artist and it'll be great. And at that point, I don't know what happens. I think it's already happening. You see some of the things that Brad Pitt, Tom Cruise fight. I mean, it looks fantastic, but you know, they're just punching each other. It's there's no great creativity to the scene, but it looks really good. If you get a person to write the proper story from that, put them together and do it as a 90-minute feature, I don't know why people wouldn't buy the DVD of that, just to be like, oh my God, this is really like good and interesting. But yeah.
That's kind of
sorry, that was too long, right?
No, that's great. That's great. But it's kind of the novelty right now, you know. But I can't help but feel when I hate it that I can't tell anymore what is real and what isn't. If it's made by humans,
the good ones,
and I don't like the feeling of watching something and not knowing if these were actual people doing this and actual actors, actual writers. I don't want to consume things that are produced by a computer. You know, there's this resistance to it, and maybe that's because it's my generation, and in the future people won't mind. I don't know.
Oh, I think they definitely won't. A kid who is 6 years old right now and he sees between the two things, they don't see difference. They just know what they like, right? So within a generation, it's going to be totally.
Yeah, it's going to be the norm.
It'll just be the norm, and there's no stopping it. So, and I know all the studios are busily trying to adopt it, no matter what they say. You know, because they would just have a revolt on their hands, and they still need humans right now, but they want to have like 3 people making a movie and only paying 3 people an hourly wage or something. Right. Sorry, this director is going to cost us $5 million. This star is going to cost us $10 million. Like if they can make up an AI star that's actually as popular as Tom Cruise, oh, they're going to do it.
Yeah, there are already. I saw something about that. This actress, I don't know the name.
I have heard of that.
Yeah, when you see her, it's just like a real person, right? But I don't know how that functions in real life. You can't interview her like face to face.
You'll be able to, though. Once they get like a AI with a program, they'll answer all your questions. It's going to be stupid. You know, you're going to be going, am I an idiot for doing this? I'm talking to like an absolute construct, right?
Yeah. It's a weird, you know, it's also one side effect of the current times is that I am starting to lose interest in science fiction. I think we're getting too close to
what's so, Dave.
Yeah, well, you know, Area 51 Studios, that's like a comedy and it makes fun of things, but I think some things should stay sci-fi that are now coming real. I rather have them in movies, right? Fictional, you know.
Well, anyway, you know, I mean, like that's kind of what I don't want to like pat myself on the back too hard, because you just have an idea and you're like, oh, that's interesting. As a writer, you're like, oh, but there are so many Area 51 projects out there, right? Most of them are a monster, you know, gets free or whatever. or it is a portal to someplace else. So many of the people that really like the book are like, you know what, this is a fresh and funny and original take on doing Area 51. So anything can be made interesting, but you have to execute it. You have to find like a little edge that is unexplored if you're going to do something like, you know, just as it's going to be an intergalactic war, you know, and as in Star Wars, right? Everybody was like, holy crap, right? Now we've got 1,000 of those stories. Now, if you're going to do it, you have to add something else to it. The characters have to be super compelling, you know, or their plot lines, what the human element, even in this AI, is going to be important. And that's why I think that the humans overseeing it will be able to do the best things, as opposed to just doing a prompt and go, make me a completely new and original story set in the Star Wars universe with Luke that we haven't seen before.
Yeah.
And, you know, like in 5 years, you're going to get a movie when you put in that prompt, right? But what I'm saying is you'll get a movie that you've seen before. They'll take it. They'll take the plot from Aliens. Like Luke goes to a planet and there's some sort of parasitic alien, and now he's fighting against it and stuff. And you're like, okay, well, what is?
Yeah, that's the thing. Also,
right?
Everything gets too accessible and too easy to make, and there's so much content, and there will be more and more and more. And I think people will just tap out. It's just too much. There's little to really connect to. There's a lot of content, but very little to really connect to. So maybe we will go back to how things were, or I don't know.
Well, physical media is making a comeback, but, you know, just for everything from LPs, you know, they've kind of skipped past CDs. Like people want that LP with. I thought the number one thing to miss when we went from albums to CDs was the liner notes. And I know they have liner notes in the CD, but it's so small. There's something about listening to an album and having those liner notes in your hand, and there's just like so much information about the band and the songs and stuff, and you're just chilling out listening to it. You know, people want that. They seem to crave that. At least some people. Is the audience big enough for everything to survive? I just can't see that there's not going to be a market for good stories, you know, made well. So
sure. Yeah,
we'll just have to hope that it's not Skynet doing it.
People will always want to, but they want to connect with something. So people are still looking for stories, and this is true. By the way, guys, I linked this page, the Area 51 Studio website, in the chat. It's also below this video, alongside other links to Ernie's like venues where you can find his work and where you can purchase digital books, right? So all right, let's close this for a moment. Remove.
Yeah, thanks for putting up so much. By the way, I don't know if you can get the if you can show the picture of this cover that's in the background. That is the alternate cover in issue number issue number 2, Livio Ramondelli made it. He's done some big Transformers stuff. He works for IDW as an artist, and he's fantastic. So this was kind of his Matrix variant cover.
Yeah, cool.
And it has, my producer, ostensibly it's like they go out on location for the first day of shooting, and that's when the guy's read the script and he has a bunch of notes. So he's annoyed his assistant enough that she's shooting at it. But I just thought Livio did like such a great job. And if you look at the building behind her, there may or there may or may not be
Wait, something's happening there. Wait.
Transformer-like people fighting in the background.
What?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Well, people can figure that out.
Yeah, he's done a bunch of Star Wars stuff for IDW and Transformers. He's known for that. He actually has his own book out, Killock, which is
Killock.
which a really, really fun thing about robots. Yeah, several original books on his own, but he does work for the majors too. Really good stuff.
Fantastic. Well, it's a very, very interesting concept, Ernie. And so probably next month, right? You will launch book 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Month and a half, we should be able to. We're just like, Josh is done sketching all 31 pages, but I want to get it into a little bit more of a shape because I don't want it to be between the end of the campaign and you getting your book. I don't want that to be more than 2 months, and preferably 1 month or 40 days. I want it in your hands. So we're a little bit far from that right now. I have the page. It's not live for number 3. I think it'll be live, as in the next couple of weeks. So if you like check back or something, that's why I gave you our home website is area51comic.com. And at a certain point, you'll be able to click on that and say, if you join our mailing list, you'll learn the sign up for updates. And at a certain point, we're going to link to the Kickstarter number 3. So I'm building the landing page, or I'm writing it. We still got to get some ducks in a row. That should be in a week or 2 that we have the landing page, and then you'll be able to see some stuff. Got an alt cover from Don Wynn, who does a lot of work. Really fun Star Trek alt cover from Amok Time, where Kirk fights Spock. So we do our version of that, much like this, the Matrix cover. The other one from Josh was a Return of the Jedi cover. I don't think that's on our regular website, but it's on the Kickstarter. Yeah, and people seem to like our alt covers. So that's been a pleasant surprise.
Great, man. Yeah, it's fantastic concept. You're very welcome to come back when you have your new book. We can talk about it. Right.
All right.
So thank you for talking about that. Showing us that, guys. Before we close off, it's been the hour. So before we close off, I want to show you guys one last thing. Oh wait, let me first log out. I need to log out. Log out. Let's go. Damn it. And I can show you guys this. There we go. All right. Share this tab instead. There we go. The Perfection Collection trade paperback is on Kickstarter in pre-launch stage right now. So this means you can sign up. You get notified when we go live, which will probably be next week or the week after. I'm trying next week, but I'm not sure if I can make it because there's a lot to do still. But this is all 6 books. This is 192 pages, guys, of story, plus extra content specifically for the trade paperback. So you don't want to miss this, guys. We have trade paperback plus hardcover, anything you want. All right, stop sharing. Ernie, thank you so much for being my guest for today, sir. It was a great chat.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me, Dave.
Yes,
it's always a delight. I'll keep you informed. You know what? I'm gonna sign up to be notified for the Perfection Collection. So I encourage everybody else to also, if they're not already. I mean, obviously, if they're coming on and watching you, they should be, right?
Yeah. It is below, guys. It is below this video, but I will also link it in the chat right now. That's the link to my Kickstarter. All right, so go sign up and go follow Ernie and check out his series, Area 51.
Area 51 Studios. But yeah,
Studios, yeah.
anybody who wants to follow me on, and I'm the only Ernie Altbacker in the United States, so it's easy to find me. I'm on Facebook, X, Instagram, and LinkedIn. If you have any questions about any of the DC AMU movies, I'm happy to answer them. Just, private message or something. And yeah, man, I'm like, it's all about the fans. This is where we draw the line, fighting against the encroachment of AI is the human relationships between us. So
that's right. Exciting times, man.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Ernie, and special thanks to the chat and to everyone watching. And if you're watching from the replay, thank you all for being here. Thank you for the questions and for the likes. So if you like this conversation, give it a like. If you didn't like the conversation, give it a dislike, and I'm very sorry. I will be back next week. So
no dislikes. No, you
don't have to. You can just like. And so next week, I'll be back on the same channel. So multiple channels. So your favorite channel, go see me there with a brand new guest. So hope to see you guys then. Have a fantastic week and see you next weekend.
See you
Bye, guys.
Later. Bye.